It seems everywhere you go on the internet, everybody's saying you can make $1 million overnight, become a trader. You definitely want to be a trader. It's the greatest business, the freedom, the flexibility. But guys, anyone who's ever traded knows it's really hard. So the question, today's topic is, why is trading so hard? Stick around, we're going to talk about it. Hey guys, Wesley here of Live Traders, and today's topic is, why is trading so hard? Anybody who's ever done this business, and believe me, there are a lot of failed traders out there and a lot fewer successful traders, they all want to know, why is this business so hard? So I want to take a few minutes today and talk about that particular topic. I get that question all the time. So first and foremost, guys, look, trading is a business. So if you're not going to treat it like a business, you probably shouldn't even start. And that goes for any business. Whether you want to open up a flower shop or a restaurant, trading is no different. But today I want to talk about 6 or 7 specific things in why exactly trading is so hard, okay? First and foremost, emotions, okay? Number 2, what I like to call bullshit or BS. Number 3, all the fees that are associated with it. Number 4, it's just not like any other business. There's an unbelievable amount of stress that can come from being a trader. 5, you need experience to be good at this. The entry cost, number 6, is really, really cheap, probably too cheap. And number 7, guys, who do you trust, right? It's really hard to trust people. So let's start from the beginning, guys, and break down each one of these so we can figure out why it is that trading is such a challenging business, guys. First and foremost, emotions. This business requires an unbelievable amount of emotional discipline. The kind of discipline that most people are simply not used to. Okay, think about it like this, guys. Right? If you do something wrong in life, there are consequences for that. If you drive too fast, you get a speeding ticket. Okay? If you're a little kid and you take something or break something, your parents might get angry at you. If you go to work and your boss says, hey, don't do that, and then you do it again, your boss might fire you, or you might get docked a paycheck or something like that. So there's a lot of consequences in normal life. In the trading world, guess what? It's just you and a computer and nobody standing or sitting over your shoulder saying, hey, don't do that, right? So the first thing that's the most challenging is emotions, controlling your emotions, emotional discipline. You see, guys, having a core belief system, we all have them, okay? Breaking that core belief system is challenging. So think of it like this, guys. Think of an alcoholic, okay? Anybody out there who's ever had an addiction problem knows this. First and foremost, addiction problems are hard to break. I think the statistic is something like less than 10% of all addicts ever truly break it. Of course, you always live with the addiction the rest of your life, meaning most 80 or 90% live with it but can't control it, okay? Trading is similar in that a lot of people know the problem. They can't control it. So I use this analogy for people, all right? Imagine you're a recovering alcoholic, okay? And somebody comes into the room and says, hey, Jared, here's a beer. And they put it right on the table next to you. And they said, hey, by the way, don't touch that beer. I'm gonna be back in about 30 minutes. I gotta go run an errand. I'll be right back. So they leave you alone with an open beer, and you're a 1 or 2 day recovering alcoholic. What are the odds you're not gonna reach your hand out and take that beer? Why? Nobody's looking. Nobody is there to stop you. Trading is that way, okay? So controlling your emotions is very, very, very difficult. And most people, they have this need, this ego, and that need and that ego, it needs to be right. So a lot of people think, oh, it's fear and it's greed, okay? But really, it's just the need to be right. That's why you sell your winners too soon and you let your losers go. Because if you let your losers go, there's a chance they might come back up and become a winner. And your winners, though, when they're going up, there's a chance they might come back and turn into a loser. So this is why a lot of traders sell their winners too soon and hold on to their losers. So emotions are very hard to break. Controlling emotions in any aspect of life, whether it's road rage, whether it's getting angry at your child or your spouse. How often do we blow up at a situation or get angry at a situation only to think back and look back and go, why did I get so upset? Was it really worth getting that upset just because little Johnny spilled milk on the floor? But in the moment, you probably yelled at little Johnny, smacked his hand, did something wrong. But in the big picture, it's not that big of a deal, okay? Trading is kind of the same way. Taking a stop is not that big of a deal, all right? Letting a winner go up and then possibly pulling back is not that big of a deal. So number one, why trading is so hard, by far, is controlling your emotions. Being consistent, coming in every day and doing that, okay? Number two on the list, okay? What I call bullshit, all right? There are certain things in the trading business, in the trading world, that we simply cannot eliminate. We can mitigate, but we cannot eliminate. And those things are, okay? Slippage and bad fills, skippage, getting completely skipped on trades, getting shaken out of a trade by a market maker or an HFT or whatever it is, having hard to borrow stock. So there's a stock you might want to short and you can't borrow it, all right? Well, there's nothing you can do about that. You can try to locate it, but if you can't get the shares, you can't get the shares. And then big picture, pennies really matter. Okay, today I was trading WDAY. I got completely skipped on it. It would have been a $1,000 winner in about 1 minute. There's nothing more I could have done. Took Tesla. Tesla stopped me out by pennies, and then it worked. These are things that traders have to deal with. And this also ties back into the emotional side of trading. So when BS or bullshit happens to you, it goes back to controlling your emotions. How well can you or do you control the emotions when something like that happens? I'll give you a typical experience in trading, okay? One stock skips you, okay? Goes on to target really, really quickly, and then the next trade you take stops you out by a penny and then goes on to your target. You're sitting there going, wait a second, I'm down today. I'm minus 1R today, and I really should be up 3 or 4 to 1. The first trade skipped you, you should have made 2 to 1. The second trade tagged you right on the penny and then worked. And you're sitting there at the end of the trading day and you're saying, I traded well today. I did everything right today. And I lost money. That is what I call the bullshit of trading. And you know what? You can mitigate, but you cannot eliminate, all right? Slippage and bad fills. Getting completely skipped on trades. Getting shaken out of a trade once in a while, all right? Hard to borrow stocks, and of course the penny aspect. Pennies really matter. These things will wreak havoc on your emotions, and that goes back to being emotionally disciplined, okay? Those are things that generally the professionals, the market makers, HFTs, don't deal with, all right? But as stock traders, equity traders, they have a tremendous impact on your bottom line and how much money you make. Now, continuing what has a big impact on your bottom line, commissions and fees. Guys, trade fees, there are years that I have spent, and I am being extremely straight here, over $50,000 just in commissions and trade fees. So you're going to have a platform fee that's usually $100, $200, $300 a month. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some platforms that don't have platform fees, but most of them do. Everybody has trade fees, okay? Whether it's straight commissions, whether it's ECN fees, whether it's Section 31 fees, there are fees associated with trading. So I look at fees like this, guys. Now I take on average about 3 to 4 trades a day. That comes out to about 60 to 80 trades a month. So on 60 to 80 trades a month, I usually incur about 2R in fees. So what I mean by 2R in fees, guys, is this. If I'm risking $100, that month I will pay $200 in trade fees and commissions. If I'm risking $500 per trade, that month I'll take about $1,000 in fees. If I'm risking $2,000 per trade, that month I'll probably take about $4,000 in fees. Okay, so yeah, overcoming those fees is very challenging. There's a lot of traders at the end of the year that before fees they break even, but after fees they're negative. So we have emotions to overcome. We have bullshit, skippage and slippage and shakeouts to overcome. And we also have commissions and platform fees and Section 31 fees to overcome, okay? Also, in general, this is like no other business you've ever tried, because guess what? In every other business you've ever had, you get paid to show up, okay? You come into work 9 a.m., you leave at 5, and they send you a paycheck every week or every month or whatever it is, okay? Even if you're on a 100% commission-based job, you can't go to work and lose money. You only have the possibility to go to work every day and break even or make money, even on a commission-based job. Most jobs, you go to work every day and you make money. And guess what, guys? You make money every day at a salary-based job, whether you did a good job that day or whether you did a bad job that day, whether you felt great that day or whether you didn't feel great that day, right? You can go to work half sick and you're still going to get your paycheck at the end of the week. You can go and make a mistake and you're still going to get your paycheck. A little side note story. I used to be a buy-side institutional trader at a large New York Wall Street bank, okay? One day, 6 months into the job, I made a $50,000 mistake, okay? They asked me to sell a stock and I misheard them and I thought they said buy, $50,000 mistake. I still got my paycheck that week, that month. Let's bring it back to trading. When you're a trader for yourself, you have 3 possibilities. You can wake up, you can make money, you can wake up, you can break even, and then that third one's the killer. You can wake up, come to work, spend all day there, and still lose money, okay? Very few other jobs outside of a professional poker player can you actually wake up, work hard, and lose money. The other thing about this business, guys, is that you can't wake up and trade sick. You have to be on point. You have to be on your game all day, every day, okay? And like I said before, you can go into any other job. And guess what? If you don't feel well and you still put out your Excel spreadsheet for the boss, you're going to get paid, okay? That doesn't happen in trading. You can lose money on any given day. Okay, the other thing that's really, really different, I referenced this a few minutes ago. In any other normal job, you have somebody overseeing you. Even if you're a business owner. Some people say, well, I own the business. The buck stops on my desk. Well, that's true. But guess who's overseeing you? Your clients and your customers, right? When you don't provide a good service, they're going to clap back at you and they're going to say, hey, I didn't get what you promised. And they're going to come back to you on that. Trading, nobody is going to do that to you. Nobody. If you make a stupid mistake, it's you and the walls. That's it. There's nobody sitting over your shoulder going, why'd you do that? That was crazy. That was stupid. That was silly. So with no boss looking over your shoulder, it takes an incredible amount of personal self-discipline, so much so that most people don't have it. And the reason they don't have it is they just don't have any practice with it, right? I mean, other than perhaps being in the military, you've never felt or dealt with this level of personal responsibility, because as we talked about earlier, guys, in life, there are always consequences for your action. If you don't do a good enough job and your boss warns you once or twice, you're done, all right? If you speed on a highway and a police officer catches you, you're gonna get a ticket. Okay, you put your hand in the cookie jar and you're not supposed to, your hand gets slapped. In trading, none of those things happen. And most people, they simply cannot handle that level of personal discipline. The other thing, guys, what are we on to now? Number 5, I believe we're on to, okay? You need experience. Now you're going, well, so what? That's normal. Everybody in life needs experience. Every job you do, you need experience. You're right. You're 100% right. But guess what? At most places, they pay you to get that experience, okay? I know when I worked on Wall Street, okay? I came out of college, work on Wall Street. They put me through the company training program. During that training program, they paid me. So even though I wasn't an asset to them yet, because I didn't know what I was doing, yet they're still paying me for that training. Nobody pays you for training in trading, okay? In fact, most of the time, the market extracts money from you while you're learning to get that experience, right? So gaining experience in most companies, you're paid to gain that experience most of the time, okay? Not so in trading. In trading, you're gonna have to pay for experience, right? You're gonna have to pay to learn how to trade, and the market is generally not so friendly. This is an area that's a big pet peeve of mine, okay? Most people come into the business, they wanna get rich quick, they risk way too much money, way too soon, and they end up blowing up their account just before they learn how to trade. So I'm a very big proponent of when you come in, trade simulator for 2 or 3 weeks, learn the buttons and all that stuff, buy, sell, short, cover, limit, etc., okay? And then go to real money, but go to very small amounts of real money, right? Very small amounts, so much so that it won't affect your account if you're wrong, because you will be wrong. So again, you need experience in this business, but no one's gonna pay you for that experience like they would at a traditional job. You have to pay the market for that experience. So you have to pay for that education, okay? Just like you go to college before you get your job out there in the real world, okay? This is what I mean when I say trading is a real, genuine business, but most people don't treat it that way. The other issue I find with trading, we're down at number 6 on the list now. Number 6 is the entry cost, honestly, nowadays, is too cheap, right? It used to be 20 years ago, you needed at least $50,000 to open up a retail brokerage account with a pattern day trading possibility capability, PDT account, okay? Now that threshold is from 50 down to 25, so it's not only been cut in half, but nowadays, unlike 20 plus years ago, you don't have a lot of prop programs available for people, proprietary trading. If you did, you had to literally be on Wall Street to get those capabilities and possibilities, all right? And the rules were much more stringent. Now there's lots of places you can open up a retail account for 25 grand. And if you don't have 25 grand, you can go open up a prop account for $3,000, $4,000. Well, what kind of people does that attract in the $3,000 or $4,000 range? And heck, if you're talking about Forex, which I wasn't really, but you can go to the Forex realm here. If you're talking about Forex, now you're talking, you can open an account for $100. You got all these people throwing mud at the wall and hoping something sticks. They're not serious. That's a bunch of hackers, okay? So when you lower the entry cost that much, guess what happens? A lot of people want to come in and try it, but they're not really serious about it. So that increases the percentage of people that fail, because I would say at least half the traders I meet, they're not serious. So I can take those people, half of the people I can take out of the stat. You know the stat I'm talking about. 90% of traders fail, right? Only 10% make it. Well, that's true and false, okay? In my opinion, less than 10% truly make it. But also a lot more than 90% don't fail. I know traders that make a few $100s a month, it's not enough to pay their bills, so they quit and went back to their regular job. That's not a failure. They just didn't quite get to where they wanted to be. But back to the other point, the cost of entry is just too cheap. Now you're thinking, well, that's a great thing, Jared. It is for the 1% of seriously motivated people out there. The majority of them, they see some ad on the internet, right? The freedom, the flexibility. Look, I turned $550 into $300,000 in just 9 months. Guys, I see it all over the internet. One ad I saw, some guy said he's gonna turn $500 into $1 million this year. Bullshit. That's all I have to say. Bullshit. You're not doing that. That's not gonna happen. All right, show me your IRS tax return and let me log in right next to you when you do it, okay? No tomfoolery. That's the way the industry is these days. So you get a lot of people coming in, well, gosh, if he can turn $500 into $1 million, oh my gosh, I made $87,000 in 2 days. And then they think, well, gosh, if I have 3,000 or 4,000, what could I do with that? Wow. They think that's what's reality. But in reality, that's not the reality, right? So you have to understand there's a lot of people that come into this business that just aren't that serious about it, okay? So that increases the number and percentage of people that are going to fail. In my estimation, more than half the people, or about half the people, just aren't that serious about it. Especially when I talk to a lot of traders and I say, hey, it's going to take you at least a year to get decent at this. And I don't mean profitable. I just mean understanding what you're doing. It might take 2 or 3 years to get genuinely profitable. And they look at me cross-eyed. And they're like, well, I don't have 2 or 3 years. And then guess what they do? They start the business anyway. Well, I'm going to be different. I'm going to be different. You don't understand. I went to Harvard. Oh, I'm a doctor. Trust me, you're not different. Okay, I went to a good school. I worked on Wall Street. I'm not a dumb guy. And it took me 2 to 3 years to get good at this. And then it takes a lifetime to master it. Okay, I'm 15 years in and I still haven't mastered it. I still make mistakes and do foolish things sometimes. That's life. That's being human. And finally, okay, finally, all right, bullet point number 7. Who do you trust? Who can you trust? Which is kind of a segue from what we just talked about. See, guys, when you go work at a large Wall Street bank, you can trust that Merrill Lynch or Goldman Sachs knows what they're doing because they make a lot of money, right? If you take golf lessons from the same coach that Tiger Woods used, you can trust that he has produced great students who have gone on to win major championships, okay? In trading, since the advent of the internet has made us all a little bit closer, and it's made it so much easier for everybody out there, their mother, brother, aunt, uncle, sister, cousin, to open up a trading firm. Well, there's literally thousands of them now. Thousands of them. 20 years ago, there may have been 5. Now there are thousands. How do you know where to hang your hat? How do you know who to trust? Okay? The answer is you really can't trust anybody. All right? Most people out there are selling or shilling something. I would say, in my guesstimation, and the industry's not going to like this. They hate me for saying it. I get emails from other trading educators all the time. Why do you say that? Guys, I'm going to say 1 or 2% of the people out there are genuinely trading real money. Yes, that's it. I just called it out, the whole industry. 1 to 2% of the entire industry is trading real money. You take 1,000 companies, maybe there's 10 that are trading real money. Everybody else is trading some form of a simulator that they're really good at Photoshop or some form of tomfoolery out there. It's one of the reasons I trade with my P&L open every day with the account number in my chat room. Now, I'm not saying you should come in and take my course or trust me either. I'm just making the point that it's really hard to trust anybody in this industry. But there is a positive side to it. The positive side is, and I've seen lots of courses out there, all right? Despite the industry being, a little bit suspect is a good way to put it, a lot of the information being taught in books and courses is actually solid. Some are better than others, okay? And obviously I'm biased to professional trading strategies, obviously, because I wrote it. But most of the courses out there, I would say 75% are decent information. Great, no, but good, solid. The question is, what are you doing with it? So if somebody teaches you solid information, but you don't follow the rules and you sell too soon or you don't take your stop loss, it doesn't matter if the educator is trading a simulator or not. You didn't follow the rules. Okay, now would it be better if they weren't trading a simulator and you could trust that they're putting their money where their mouth is? Yeah, of course, that would be way better, way better. But you're not going to get that. You're going to get that 2% of the time. Okay, so when you go down this checklist, guys, emotions, bullshit, fees, it's not like any other business you've ever tried before. You need experience. The entry cost is so cheap, and who do you trust? When you put those all together, those are the reasons why trading is so hard, all right? You have to be able to figure out how to navigate the markets, control your emotions, deal with slippage and skippage. Be self-driven and self-motivated without somebody having to watch what you do. I remember somebody once told me, people don't do what's expected, they do what's inspected. Amen. Problem in trading, nobody's inspecting your work. It's up to you. Okay? So the need for experience, but it costs a lot of money to gain that experience. All of these things, guys, are really, really important. But most people will never make it as a trader. I believe they're capable, but they won't put in the time and effort necessary to overcome emotional demons, to gain the experience necessary to be profitable, and to probably learn from somebody who's honest and reputable, okay? It's just not like any other business out there. So, Jared Wesley here for Live Traders. I hope you enjoyed this little talk about why trading is so hard. I know it wasn't full of positive accolades, but my next talk that I'm going to be doing is why trading is so great. So subscribe to the Live Traders channel here and stick around for that next video, all right? Have a good one. Jared Wesley, Live Traders. Talk to you next time.